It started with a single old dollar bill. Not just any dollar bill, this one was strange. I found it one afternoon when I was short on cash and feeling desperate. My rent was overdue, my car needed repairs, and my bank account was practically empty. The only reason I even noticed the bill was because of how out of place it looked. It was crumpled, old, and almost brittle, sitting on the floor of a dusty antique store I had wandered into while looking for a job. There was something off about it. The ink was slightly faded, the paper seemed thinner, and there was a faint symbol drawn in the corner, a circle with a triangle inside. I didn't think much of it at the time, just figured it was some kind of weird doodle from a previous owner. I picked it up, smoothed it out, and slid it into my pocket. As I left the store, I didn't realize how quickly my life was about to change. That night, I found myself needing to buy groceries, so I used the dollar bill at a small convenience store. The cashier barely looked at it, shoving it into the till as I paid for my food. It felt good to spend the last bit of cash I had, like I was getting rid of a burden. But when I got home, things started to get strange. I pulled out my wallet to put away my change, and there it was, the same crumpled dollar bill. At first, I thought it was a coincidence. Maybe I'd accidentally taken it back with my change. I laughed it off, figuring it was no big deal, and tossed it onto my kitchen counter. The next day, I paid for a cup of coffee at a cafe down the street, handing over the dollar bill again, this time making sure it was the same one. It had the same faded ink, the same odd symbol. I even watched the barista place it into the register. But when I got home later that evening and emptied my pockets, the dollar bill was back. That's when I began to worry. I tried getting rid of it in every way I could think of. I left it at stores, gave it to beggars, and even tried throwing it away. Each time it would find its way back to me. It didn't matter what I did. By the end of the day, I would always find that crumpled dollar waiting for me in my wallet, or sitting on my desk, or even lying in my bed. And the symbol, the strange triangle inside the circle, seemed to grow darker each time it reappeared. I started to feel paranoid, like something was watching me. It was just a dollar bill, but it felt heavier than that, like there was something sinister behind it. After a week, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't focus at work. All I could think about was the dollar and why it wouldn't leave me alone. One night, I decided to destroy it. I took the dollar out to my backyard, held it over an old metal barrel, and lit it on fire. The flame caught, flickering wildly as it consumed the paper. I stood there, watching as the bill curled and blackened, waiting for it to be nothing but ash. But before it could finish burning, the fire died out. The bill was mostly intact, charred at the edges but still whole. The symbol, however, was gone. In its place there was something new, a single word written in jagged letters. Oh. A chill ran down my spine. That night I barely slept, plagued by nightmares. In my dreams I was trapped in a room filled with stacks of dollar bills, each one whispering that word over and over, oh, oh, oh. The sound grew louder, more frantic, until I woke up in a cold sweat. The next morning I went to the bank. I wanted to deposit the bill, get it out of my hands once and for all. The teller gave me a strange look as she examined it, but said nothing as she processed the deposit. I felt a wave of relief as I left the bank, hoping that was the end of it. But later that day my phone rang. It was the bank. They told me there had been an error with my account, that something unusual had happened with my recent deposit. They couldn't explain it, but the dollar bill had somehow reappeared, marked as a withdrawal in my name. Worse still, my balance had dropped significantly. Hundreds of dollars had vanished overnight, and the teller said it looked like I was in serious debt, an amount far greater than I'd ever borrowed. I rushed home, heart pounding, and checked my wallet. The dollar bill was back. The word "O" had grown larger, darker. And beneath it, a new phrase had appeared, debt paid in full. I didn't understand. I hadn't borrowed anything, hadn't taken out any loans. But when I checked my bank account again, the debt had grown even larger. Every time I tried to get rid of the dollar, more money vanished from my account. It was as though the bill was siphoning off everything I had, everything I'd ever earned. Desperate, I turned to the internet, searching for anything that could explain what was happening. That's when I found a forum post, buried deep in a thread about cursed objects. Someone had posted a warning describing an ancient curse tied to money, a curse that could never be broken, only passed on. The only way to escape it, the post claimed, was to trick someone into accepting the dollar willingly. Only then would the curse transfer to them. But once passed, there was no going back. The original owner would be free, but the new owner would be doomed to suffer the same fate. I stared at the dollar bill in my hand, its edges blackened, the word "O" staring back at me like an accusation. I didn't know what to do. Could I really pass this curse on to someone else, knowing what it would do to them? But as the days passed, my bank account drained further and I started to panic. I couldn't keep living like this. I couldn't lose everything. The dollar bill had ruined my life. My only option, terrible as it was to give it away, to pass the curse on to someone else. That's what I did. One night, I went to a bar, struck up a conversation with a stranger, and convinced him to take the dollar bill as a tip. He smiled, thanked me, and slipped it into his pocket. I left the bar feeling a sick mixture of guilt and relief. But the curse was gone. I was free. Or so I thought. The next morning, I woke up to find a single crumpled dollar bill lying on my bedside table. The symbol was back. And underneath it, in bold, dark letters, were the words, "You can't escape debt."